Hello everybody, and welcome back to another Dragonfly deck review. My name's Dan, Dragonfly9078, and this is my deck. This is not an archetype deck. This is a deck built around a specific theme, and that theme is bouncing cards and banishing cards. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. One of the main cards in the deck is this card, Degenerate Circuit. It's a continuous spell card. Pay 500 life points during each of your standby phases, and any monsters that would be returned from the field to the hand are banished instead. So that's pretty much the linchpin of the deck. Yeah, that's that's pretty much it. That's the whole point of the deck. So it's a lot of bouncing cards. It's a lot of actually it's pretty much just bouncing cards, and then some cards to take advantage of the banished of the cards that were banished. So let's go through it. First up is Gale Lizard. It's a level 4 water reptile, 1400 attack, 700 defense. Flip effect. Return a monster your opponent controls to its owner's hand. Golem Sentry. Level 4 Earth Rock, 800 attack, 1800 defense. When it's flip summoned, return a monster your opponent controls to the owner's hand, and once per turn you can flip Golem Sentry into face down defense. Gale Lizard is pretty straightforward. Golem Sentry. Golem Sentry I actually really like because it does have pretty good defense. Of course, it can basically bounce a card every turn as long as they keep playing monsters, and if they don't play monsters, then it can attack directly. It's only 800, but you know that adds up after a while. Gravekeeper's Guard. It's a level 4 dark spellcaster, 1000 attack, 1900 defense. Flip effects. Target a monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. Again, straightforward. Wow, I just could not talk then. Grenmaju Daiza, or Daiza, however you pronounce it. It's a level 3 Fire Fiend. Grenmaju's attack and defense are equal to the number of your removed from play cards times 400. There are several ways in this deck to remove your own cards from play. So, you know, that's why Grenmaju is in there. Guardian Sphinx is definitely a good card in this deck. It's a level 5 rock or earth rock monster, 1700 attack, 2400 defense. Once per turn during your main phase, you can flip it into face down defense position, just like Golem Sentry. And when Guardian Sphinx is flip summoned, all of your opponent's monsters go back to the owner's hand. So just a complete wipe of the field, of your opponent's field. And with Degenerate Circuit, they're all banished. Guardian Statue is exactly the same as Golem Sentry, except it has 400 less defense. Other than that, it is identical in every way. Haidhane is another level 5. It's an Earth Beast, 900 attack, 1000 defense. Has a flip effect. You can return up to 3 monsters on the field to the owner's hand. So that can be pretty good too. I mean, I don't want to just keep saying that can be pretty good or this is good in this deck or whatever, but I mean, there's not really much to say. It's a very straightforward deck. you bounce monsters to your opponent's hand, and then once you get Degenerate Circuit on the field, you start banishing their monsters. But until then, you just keep bouncing their monsters, and yeah, that's it. I can't think of like how much more straightforward I can make it. Um, Kaiser Glider is a level 6. It's a light dragon, 2400 attack, 2200 defense. Can't be destroyed by battle with a monster that has the same attack. And when it is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, return a monster on the field to the owner's hand. Pretty good. Interestingly, even if it is in defense mode, it can't be destroyed by a monster with 2400 attack power. So, that's an interesting little feature, I guess. And it can bounce any monster on the field, not just your opponent's monsters, so you can like reuse Gale Lizard or Penguin Soldier or whatever. Kelbeck is a level 4 Earth Fairy, 1500 attack, 1800 defense. Monster that attacks it is returned to its owner's hand, but damage calculation is applied normally. And why don't I have that card in here? That's like a classic card. Mist Valley Soldier. It's a level 4 Wind Winged Beast. And it's a tuner. I did not notice that it was a tuner. Maybe I should put some synchros in here. Yeah. 1700 attack, only 300 defense, so that's a bit unfortunate. But while it's face up, a monster that battles Mist Valley Soldier but is not destroyed by that battle returns to its owner's hand at the end of the damage step. Nightmare Penguin. It's a level 4 Water Aqua, 900 attack, 1800 defense. All of your water monsters gain 900 attack, and when Nightmare Penguin is flipped face up, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to their hand. So Nightmare Penguin is a bit more versatile than like, for instance, Gale Lizard. Because it can target spells. Unfortunately, Degenerate Circuit only affects monsters, but you can still bounce your spells and traps to avoid being hit or just to stop an unpleasant situation. Yeah. Penguin Soldier, classic card. You know him, you love him. Level 2, Water Aqua, 750 attack, 500 defense. Flip effect, return 2 monsters on the field to the owner's hand. Allows him to be reusable, a bit more reusable than Hate Hane, because Hate Hane does have to be sacrificed for every time you do that. Yeah. Not much else I can say about that. Attack the Moon. This card is just so ridiculous. I'm sorry, but like, it's if you don't know, it's a reference to the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime when Yugi was dueling what's his name? Mako Tsunami, the crazy fish guy. So they're like in this place, and in like the duelist kingdom, where there's like weird rules and stuff. So and I guess I hadn't gotten all the rules figured out. So Yugi plays a card. It's like the full moon or mystical moon or something, to increase his, probably like Silver Fang, some beast monster's attack power. But the field they're playing on is like half water and half land, and Mako makes this big deal about how the moon controls the tides, so the entire field basically just like floods. And if I'm remembering it wrong, then I'm sorry. But the entire field basically floods, so there's just like this tiny little island left, and so Yugi summons his giant soldier of stone, and tells it to attack, but tells it to attack his moon, like the moon spell card that he had played, which makes no sense because he's telling this card to attack his own spell card. First of all, you can't attack spells. Second of all, it's his own card. And third, he's telling this thing to stab the moon. So somehow this works, and the tide like completely goes out, and all Mako's water monsters are just like left there gasping for breath because they're like because there's no more water. And it was just the most ridiculous thing. But so they made it into a card for some reason, just because it's so funny, I guess. So attack the moon. Sorry, I'll get back on track. Is a continuous spell card. Once per turn, when the battle position of a rock-type monster you control is changed, rock-type monsters including Golem Sentry, Guardian Sphinx, Guardian Statue, which can all change their battle position by their own effect and activate their effect by changing their battle position. When the battle position of a rock-type monster you control is changed, you can destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls. So it's actually pretty good. Like, so you're basically, if you have that and Degenerate Circuit and one of these on the field, then you can basically banish one of their monsters or all of their monsters if it's Guardian Sphinx, and kill one of their spell or trap cards, and then attack directly. So definitely a good card. This is actually the first deck I've used it in, but I've only used it in like one duel so far. But it was really effective. Like, it was surprisingly effective. Yeah. Book of Eclipse, I'm sure you've seen. It's a pretty common card. It's a quick play spell card. All face-up monsters on the field are changed to face-down defense, and then during the end phase, all of your opponent's face-down defense monsters, even the ones that were not changed to face-down by Book of Eclipse, but all of their face-down defense monsters are flipped face-up, not flip-summoned. They are flipped face-up to face-up defense, and your opponent draws a card for each one. So, excellent way to reuse flip effects, or just to get Guardian Sphinx, Golem Sentry, or Guardian Statue back face down, because they do only activate when they are flip summoned, which can be an issue sometimes. But because that means that if you activate its effect, you'd have to flip it face down and then flip summon it. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. I'll have to check on this ruling, but when it's flipped face down, like if Guardian Sphinx is on the field face up, and I use his effect to flip it face down, then I can flip summon it to activate its other effect to wipe their field. But then was the once per turn thing reset? So I can flip it back face down? I'm actually not sure. I'll have to check on that. Yeah. It can also be used to stop your opponent from attacking. If it's like Penguin Soldier and you want to reuse it, then you can flip their monster face down and then use Penguin Soldier to bounce it and itself, and then just reuse Penguin Soldier. Book of Moon, I'm sure you've seen. It's a quick play spell card. Changes a monster on the field to face down defense. It's like Book of Eclipse, but limited and less widespread. Book of Tayo, I'm not actually sure why this is in here. I know I had a reason, but I made this deck so long ago, or like a couple months ago, and So I've forgotten why some of the cards are in here, because I also just haven't used it in a while. I guess if I want to force the activation of one of their effects. Uh, yeah, I mean that's the only reason I can think of. Same with creature swap. I'm not sure why I would put that in there. Um, hmm, I don't know. Uh, Actually, I just don't know why I would put creature swap in, so I'll put it in my side deck. Because if there was a reason, I'd like to have it, but if there wasn't, then I want it out of my deck. Um, Degenerate Circuit, I explained, is the linchpin card of the deck. I am running 3 of them, so I can get it quickly, and or at least I have more of a chance of getting it. There's not much draw power in this deck, unfortunately. Um, yeah. You definitely don't want to play 2 at once because uh, their effects would not like benefit from having 2, and you'd have to pay 1,000 every turn. Um, Quick note: you can die from this cost because the cost is not optional. You cannot say, "Oh, I decide not to pay it," and destroy the card. The cost is not optional. It is mandatory. You have to pay this cost if this card is on the field. So just be careful of that. Soul Absorption, I actually just put in recently, and I have no idea why it wasn't in here before. Every time a card is removed from play, a card or cards, sorry, increase your life points by 500 for every card that was removed from play. Yeah, so it's good. It's definitely good. Um, Interestingly, even though it says every time a card or cards is removed from play, increase your life points, it does count every individual card. So if I use Guardian Sphinx and they have 5 monsters, I'm getting 2,500 life points. Because it is by 500 for each card removed from play. So definitely good. Spring of Rebirth is similar to Soul Absorption, but is for when I don't have Degenerate Circuit out. Increase your life points by 500 every time monster or monsters return from the field to the owner's hand. This, unfortunately, does not count every monster. So if I use Guardian Sphinx and they have 5 monsters, while I have Spring Rebirth, I am only getting 500. So, bit of a downside, but what are you going to do? Stumbling. Any monster that is normal summoned, flip summoned, or special summoned, so basically any monster that is summoned, is changed to defense position. Good stalling card to get my monsters into position to flip and banish them. Not not much. I mean, it does stop me from attacking directly, but that can be a good thing, especially when I have Begone Native. But but it's not really that kind of a deck. Like it can kill somebody by beating them down, but it's really not that kind of a deck. Um, it is a continuous spell card. Like I have a lot of continuous spell cards in here actually. Um, Begone Knave is a continuous trap card. When a monster inflicts battle damage to a player, return the monster to the owner's hand. So, yeah, I mean, it's another bouncing card. Good for if I don't have any monsters on the field. Less good when I have something with strong defense, because it will count that and it will banish that if Degenerate Circuit's on the field. It will bounce that, I should say. Compulsory Evacuation Device, I am sure I don't need to explain. DD Dynamite, oh my god. Every time. Every time. Like, I've been trying. to like click around and um, and appear to be busy, but no, it just doesn't like me to not time out. So it's annoying. So DD Dynamite, sorry about that. Your opponent takes 300 damage for each of their removed from play cards. Yeah, not really sure what else to say about that. I do have 3 of them. There's probably other cards. Oh, I didn't save, did I? There's probably other cards that that um, can work with the whole banishing thing, but I don't really feel like looking for them, to be honest. So yeah. Forced Back is a counter trap card. Negate the normal or flip summon of a monster and return it to the owner's hand. So, again, bouncing or banishing with Degenerate Circuit. Ordeal of a Traveler. When your opponent's monster declares an attack, your opponent chooses a random card in your hand and calls the type of the card, monster, spell, or trap. If they call it wrong, the attacking monster returns to their hand. Yeah. Like I said, this is a very straightforward deck. Like the effects are all very self-explanatory once you know that I'm using Degenerate Circuit. It's like I'm using Degenerate Circuit. The entire deck returns cards back to their hand. So can't really I I can't really say much more than what has already been said. The last card in here is Soul Drain. Useful card, especially if you're going to be banishing a lot of cards. Activate by paying 1,000 life points. Monsters that are banished, as well as monsters in the graveyard, cannot activate their effects. So it's like Skill Drain, except for the banished zone and the graveyard instead of the field. Yeah, there are a couple cards I thought of. What's that? No. Hain, meh. Hain is the upgraded form, but Hain is a good upgrade. It has double the attack and defense of Hain. It does require a sacrifice, but it also bounces 2 more monsters. So Hain, I think not. But the other card, the classic card that I was thinking of, is this, Wall of Illusion. That could go in there, actually. That could go in there over Mist Valley Soldier. Because, I mean, I'm not using Synchros. Unless there's Synchros that bounce to the hand. Oh, put a couple of those in there. What was it? What was I? Oh, Synchros, right. To the owner's hand. Let's look for Synchro. Just Duloran? What does Brionic do? I mean, I know it's forbidden, but let's just say to the hand. Oh. Duh. Well, there's a couple of them. Brionic is forbidden, of course. That could be really good, Mistworm. Okay, so I use Vulcan. Do I have a level 2? Yeah. Because you're level 4, you're level 2. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. What level is Mistworm? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That could be a problem. And requires 3 monsters. Oh, that's actually too bad. That could be a really good, addition. Mistworm. Yeah. That could be a really good addition, actually, but I do not think so. I think I'm going to... What about XYZs? Are there any XYZs? Preferably rank 4. Eagles from Rebirth. You're 5. Yeah. This would be good if I had level 5 light monsters. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna take out... I'll just side him, why not? Put in my Walls of Illusion. And, yeah, so Wall of Illusion, now that I have new cards in the deck, is a level 4 Dark Fiend, 1000 attack, 1850 defense. A monster that attacks Wall of Illusion is returned to the owner's hand after damage calculation. Damage calculation is, of course, applied normally. I feel like I had this in here. Like, why would I not have this in here? It's such a common card. There was another one too, wasn't there? Garmer. Yeah. Huh. I swear this was in here. Did I change this deck without realizing it? I don't know. I'm sorry, this is just weird, because I know Garmer at least used to be in here. Did I take it out to make the deck less bulky? That might be it, actually. This might have been like a really big deck. Okay. Okay, I think I just had a bunch of cards in here, so I just took them out to slim the deck down and make it run a bit faster. Alright. That makes sense. And of course, even a straightforward deck like this has managed to run for half an hour. Sorry about that. That's the deck. I call it DC Dynamite. Kind of a play off DD Dynamite with Degenerate Circuit, DC Degenerate Circuit Dynamite. So yeah. So that's my... No, actually I'm going to change the name. I'm going to rename it Bounce-ish. Bounce-ish. It's like Banish and Bounce in the same card, or in the same name. So this is now my Bounce-ish deck. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you see me on Dueling Network, pop in, say hi. I'm not a terrifying person, I like to think. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. Did feel like there's a lot of me going in this video, because it's just such straightforward effects. I didn't really have much to say. So thanks for watching. Again, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.